Oh, what's up, Philadelphia sports fans? I am Anthony Pinto,
I'm Keith Malashevsky.
And I'm Kevin Christian.
and welcome to the War Room. We are War Room Philly. It's a loaded show tonight. It's the first time that we got Kevin Christian on in quite some time. It's good to see you, buddy. I'm glad the gritty headband is still alive and rocking.
I got it washed just special for you guys.
I'm digging it. So yeah, and Keith, how you doing tonight, buddy? I don't even know if I feel like this is how it happens quite frequently, but I'm like, I feel like I didn't even ask you that in the pre-show.
Well, to be fair, I showed up like 2 minutes before we were supposed to go on because I was shoveling my face full of food because I got back from the gym and showered, so I'd actually kind of like not be a sweaty mess.
I'm into the sweaty mess, to be honest with you.
But you've seen me in worse condition.
But yeah, so tonight it's gonna be a little bit of everything. Keith, as we've seen me in worse, or I've seen you in worse condition. I've seen Philly sports in worse condition. However, it's not the brightest right now. And we'll talk. It's gonna be. I'm looking at the notes. Looks like we got a little bit of a 4 for 4 tonight. So we got Eagles. As far as the Eagles go, the big news Eagles front would be Hassan Reddick. Good. I think it's a good move. I think it'll be an upgrade on the edge. But we got a little bit of everything tonight. We're gonna start off with the Eagles. We got Phillies. It's baseball's back. So we have that, and we'll talk Phillies. The Flyers have made some moves and have not made some moves. We'll be talking Claude Giroux's monumental game is coming up. So it's going to be a little bit of everything. Vinny in chat, Vin Penn, saying, "What about the undefeated Philadelphia Union?" It's where we get them people on the West Coast joining the chat. And people from West Coast, Oregon, and asking about Philadelphia Union, but you love to say it. I don't know. What do you guys got on the Union? Anything? Do we have a Union minute?
Have they played a game?
They're undefeated, apparently.
Yes, that could mean the undefeated and not play a game.
That could mean zero. No,
they have played a game. Yes.
No, I paid attention to soccer I tried at least one time only, and that was heart of the pandemic when the MLS was the first thing to come about. And I listened because I was at work and it was convenient for me. I listened to the Union I streamed it. And I was updating it for people, and everyone on the page was shocked. And it made me wish I liked soccer, but I just don't, man. I just don't.
The Union are
like World Cup.
No, I still don't.
I have a harder time at the World Cup.
It's actually, I would much rather, if I'm gonna force myself to get into anything, it would be the Union. And like I said, I tried to watch it, and it's. Look, I've done this before. Like, I go to the esports world, and it's League of Legends, and I just can't get into League of Legends, and it's the same thing. It's the most popular esport. It's the most popular real sport, soccer or football, and I just don't care. I just don't care about it. Now, I'm past. I've matured. I no longer talk smack. Like, I respect the game. I think I always have. I was just young and a douche, and I enjoyed getting on people's nerves. But now that I've matured,
now you're not young,
Now, I'm not mature by any means, but I've matured. And what did you say? Now that I'm not young?
Was that alluding to the other things haven't changed?
Yeah, exactly. Keith just called me old and still immature, which I appreciate.
I was going more for the douche angle, but yeah.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. I forget what I called myself that quick.
It's fine. Don't worry about it. I'll remind you.
At work today, I was training someone, and I said to them, "It's actually hard for me to point out my strengths because I just love putting myself down more than anything in this world." I forgot something. So like my brain, I'm just dumb. Like, I don't know. But here I am, going in circles. But yeah, it's gonna be a fun one, and like I said, going into circles, we got a little bit of everything. So we'll end with Sixers talk. because that's probably where there's the most. And we have not had Kevin Christian on since the James Harden trade, so I cannot wait to talk hoops with Kevin. But first and foremost, let's talk a little Philadelphia Eagles football, because there's the Redick signing, and then, guys, I'm literally remembering it on the fly, so I want to get it out before I forget for the third time today. I have a philosophy, Keith. You'll probably remember this much better than Kevin, although Kevin's been plugged in for at least the last 2 draft shows. I typically am not one for the trade back / trade out. Just that's not my fault. Like I always want to trade up and not out or back. However, this year I'm finding an interesting turn in things. But the fact that the Eagles I'm showing that I don't work in absolutes, as I've always said. And this year,
Sith deals in absolutes.
Keith, you finished it. You've heard me say it enough. Only Siths deal in absolutes. And this being one of them, where I'm looking at, one of my philosophies is you always want to trade up. Typically, 9.9 years out of 10, I would see the Eagles have 3 draft picks, and I would go package them and get up. This year, however, I'm going, why not take those lower 2 and try to move out into next year's first round? Dare I say, call it Jalen Hurts insurance. I would much rather be in this situation next year than right this year. And this is a good draft this year. It's not a knock on this draft. And it's not saying that the Eagles have, they don't have holes, because they have plenty of them. And I'll even go as far as saying, and I hate to play both sides of the fence, but I won't be upset if they don't follow this, which is also rare for me, because usually I'm upset with everything the Eagles do if it's not exactly what I want it to do. Hey, I'm from Philadelphia after all. Yep. But this year in particular, and I think I've kind of already alluded, it's only because, look, I think I'm lower on Jalen Hurts than Keith is, but higher on Jalen Hurts than Kevin is.
I would assume that.
I don't want to quote either of you guys, but just off of my conversations, both on and off air with you guys, that's my feeling. Maybe I'm higher on Hurts than Keith, to be honest with you. I don't know.
You probably are.
Because I saw your face as I said that. I don't know.
Well, I think at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. I mean, all 3 of us don't have. I mean, whether it's this year, whether it's making a move in one way or another this year or doing something next year, anticipating that that's going to be an issue is kind of puts us all in the same boat.
Yeah. Yes. And I'm by no means. Yeah. That's actually that's like a really good simplified way to look at it.
The only guy that I know that you're in on for this year's draft, Kev, we're not going to get anyway. And I don't really like too many people out of this draft. And that Kenny Pickett, I believe, is the only person that you really like, if I'm not mistaken.
I got two this year, but I don't know if either one of them will be there at that time. Yeah. But Kenny is one of them.
You'd have to package all 3 picks to get up to be able to get anywhere close to that. And for me, I'm kind of with you, Anthony, in the sense that I would rather take one of my picks in the lower end and maybe trade back to get something next year. That way, insurance, and really just give Jalen Hurts one more year, keep building that team, and at that point you can see if he is going to progress with his reads and be able to learn. And if not, well, then you got, draft capital next year to be able to get that guy that you want. That's how I feel. That's where I'm at, which is why I like the Hassan Reddick signing, because you're filling a need, which, by the way, the contract's 3 years, $45 million, just so we get that out there.
We have not got that out there, so thank you.
Yes. And I like it. It is very nice. And he's 27, which is a nice age to pair with this team. He's an upgrade over Derek Barnett, because I believe, and I have it right here. What?
That's high praise for Keith.
That's fair.
That's the man that recovered the strip sack.
It is. You
know what's nice though? Real quick,
something else I'm positive Keith could have
done. Probably just fall.
Keith, I don't appreciate it. It's not that I don't appreciate it. It's not one of my favorite moments of all time. It's fall on the ball part was a whole lot easier than Graham getting there.
All these dudes that we throw shade at, when we go to finally look back on it, they'll all have their nice moment, right? Like Nelson Aguilar. Nelson Aguilar is a meme. Go look at his stats in the Super Bowl. He had like 108 yards. Like, in the Super Bowl, Nelson Aguilar showed up at the best possible time he could for the Eagles. Like, and I don't want to just start being member berries, but I can't wait to get to that point, because it felt like with the Phillies roster in 08, we just fell in love with that entire roster immediately. Yep. With the Eagles, by the next season, it was like we wanted everything to burn down to the ground, and here we are a few years later, and it's completely it's torched. The quarterback that was your starter the year you won the Super Bowl is now playing in your division.
Right.
Which was an amazing segue, by the way, for me to mention the fact that Carson Wentz
is going to be throwing passes to the Eagles team again.
He'll throw more touchdown passes to the Eagles now than no. I'm not here to bash Wentz. I got no problem.
I'm not messing with it because you got to play him twice a year.
Yeah, I still look. Wentz might be the second best quarterback in the division. It's either him, maybe Tyrod Taylor. Now that he's in the division,
I was waiting for the Tyrod Taylor.
It's definitely Dak is the best. Like it's not even.
I think he's definitely the second best quarterback in the division.
I would think
he might make the dumbest plays in the division.
I think there's a good amount of Eagles fans that would try to put Jalen Hurts into that conversation. I don't think that any three of them are here.
No.
Any three of them.
No, none of the three. Is that not? I've been watching too much. I actually said this today at work. I was like, I think I'm watching so much Trailer Park Boys that it's like ruining my grammar. It reminds me of like I watched so much Beavis and Butthead when I was like 13 and 14 that like someone would say like heinous and I'd be like, he said anus. Like, it's like now I'm like, yeah, it is what it is.
You know, there is some good news about Jalen Hurts, or for Jalen Hurts, I guess. Maybe not about him, but he's not going to be the last quarterback to lose to Tom Brady now.
I would wear that as a badge of honor more than anything.
I'm cool with not being the last team to lose to Tom Brady.
It's not out of the question.
I'm going to tell you right now, that might have been the best part about his career when it's all said.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not out of the question.
You'll see him in the record book, at least.
It's not out of the question.
You know what? That's fair. You know, we are one of the few teams that have ever beat him in a Super Bowl.
Right. Listen, and this is what I got to tell you. It's going back to the draft for this year. To me, you draft all three. Because, one, you have 5 quarterbacks at the top of next year's draft, and ain't no one giving up their first-round pick. At least not for more than a middle first-rounder this year. I think you're going to have to move guys if you want that. And I'm not sure who they have that's going to garner that type of return. This team, if you've saddled this to Hurts for this year.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So for me, you take two defensive starters, which should be pretty simple with the current lineup they're starting, and an offensive lineman. Stop taking a wide receiver. You have no idea how to pick them. There were 3 elite level receivers last year, and the third one fell into your lap last year. Every other time you've tried to take a receiver, you failed miserably because you can't do it. They're going to take Drake London, and it's just Aguilar all over again.
Yeah, anytime people try to give Howie Roseman credit for Devonta Smith, I'm like, first off, like everyone, including me, was calling that. And
the 2 were gone.
Secondly, he did everything in his power to try to screw up getting Devonta Smith. He just had to trade with the Dallas Cowboys to get back so he could get him. Yeah. So if anything, I like take credit away for him in the way that he did get Devonta Smith.
Yep.
But I digress, as I do best. Personally, too, just to get it out there, the one quarterback I've kind of been slightly enamored with is Malik Willis.
That's mine too. Very good.
I think that the Liberty thing gets people, but I just see a lot of talent. And if you are going to use all 3 of these picks, and by some chance you want to even move up, that would be just fine for me. Do I expect it? No, like not even a little bit. But while we're just throwing out like the one quarterback that we're like throwing of note, I put Willis at the top. I would go Pickett too. So I think Kev, you and I are a little switch on that.
Yeah.
And
By
Pickett,
the way, there is one wide receiver I would want. Treylon Burks.
Yeah.
I agree, but I don't trust them to take him.
Well, yeah, I see a lot of Debo Smith in him.
I'm not doing this again. I'm not sitting here. Hopefully this year I'll be online with you guys as opposed to in chat.
That'd be nice.
I'm not sitting here again watching Jetta go to the Vikings. Yeah, I can't. So I honestly, to be honest, I've seen Burks play. I've not looked at receiver tape on purpose because there's no reason they should be taking one. You should be going all in on Allen Robinson or any of the other 42 receivers that are out there because you have a young receiver. Go get a vet to play with him. But I fully expect one. I actually expect them to take one with that first pick because that's just Howie.
I've seen a lot of people mocking him to us too, which makes me think, yeah, we ain't getting him. But I've seen the same thing with Stingley, and I don't mind Stingley.
Oh, if Stingley falls that far, that's a steal.
Yes. I'm good with an LSU cornerback.
Kyle Hamilton is the only person I'm trading up to go get for my answer. I don't think there's a world where you can get him, but if I'm trading up in this draft, I'm getting Kyle Hamilton.
How you guys feel about Sauce?
That's another one I'm hoping falls.
Yeah.
What
Add
about
a little depth to that defense?
What about while it's going on now too? What about free agents? What do you guys see as far as that? Who are you looking for? Safety still feels like a glaring need. What would you guys? And safety's also been a position that have been flying off the board. Even right before we went on, I think I saw that the dude from the Saints went to the Ravens.
He did. Yes.
I forget his name off the top of my head. I got a million. So another safety off the board. Wondering what the Eagles are going to do on that front. Honey Badger.
I don't think they can get him. I'm looking more at Marcus May up in the Jets.
Yes.
Just kind of fits what the Eagles do. I actually thought Tyron was going to Baltimore, but I think now he just swaps down to New Orleans.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind Diggs, to be honest with you. That wouldn't be like a terrible thing because he's good as far as a free safety goes, a pure free safety. He's good for that because I think you can maybe get away with.
You talking about Bondre?
Yeah.
He resigned.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, yesterday.
Damn, I missed that.
He resigned yesterday. He was one. May and Diggs were the two I was looking at, but Diggs did resign
like
yesterday.
Diggs. Yeah.
Not granted, I haven't checked on May today, so May have resigned too. But
yeah, well, let's hope not.
Right.
Because we need one
badly. Yeah, and that's like I said. That's why for me, it would be Hamilton. If I could go get anything, that would be my wish list on this draft. But I think he's going to be in the division again, which will be great.
Oh yeah,
love when the top defensive studs in the draft end up in our division. It's great.
Well, let's shift gears now, and we'll move on from as we're just trying to keep pace. But any other if there's any other Eagles specific questions in chat, by all means, bring it. But yeah, moving on and moving to what I expect is to get us a little riled up. But I want to move on into the Flyers, and the Flyers have signed Rasmus Ristolainen for 5 years. I'm pulling up the details, and the specifications are too long by too much.
5 by 5.1.
What are your thoughts, Kev?
I'm pretty sure. You might have to remind me of my memory. Pretty sure I was on here the night before they made the stupid trade to get him, saying, do whatever you need to do to fix this team, but don't trade for Rasmus Ristolainen. And then I was on 2 days after they made the stupid trade, saying, okay, you made a stupid trade and you sunk a ton of cost into it, but don't re-sign him. He's played worse. No, that's not true. He's played better than I expected him to. But that was a low bar. Just pathetic. I mean, just so expected. And listening to the press conference afterwards, talking about how great he's going to be, bringing that nasty attitude in the playoffs. What playoffs?
Playoffs?
What
playoff with this team? Playoffs?
You'd rather lose your best player. You have little to nothing coming up behind him. What playoffs? What are we talking about here? This guy is nothing but a liability. He's being carried by the best defenseman on a team. And you want to talk to me about how gritty he's going to be in the playoffs.
Don't you dare use that word with him.
You know what? Now what's really upsetting me is people are turning on the mascot like it's his damn fault. Because it's like the Flyers, every time they do something stupid, try to distract you by throwing gritty in your face, which I get, but like the mascot's still fun. That's the whole point of mascots.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Fanatic was the main selling point for the Phillies for the last 10 years until they got Bryce Harper. Like that's what these things are for.
Yeah.
So let's not turn on the mascot who's fun. Let's just turn on the guys who are ruining this team day by day. Just pathetic. My blood pressure's going up thinking about wrestling in a Flyers uniform for 5 more years.
It's so eerily similar to the Andrew McDonald deal.
Yep.
The only difference is I see a lot more people against this move. And by a lot more people, I mean some.
I would say I disagree. I see way too many people who are excited about
I agree, but for any Flyers fan to like speak negative of this is and for our post in particular, now granted, I may have put my own stank on it, like I may have poisoned the well just by the way I made the post. Maybe it only drew a certain, but it was like 5-1, like most people were with me, but there was even that, like, still, like, one, fan that even after I retorted, they had, like, a non. I was like, all right, well, like, good luck with that. Like, I'll be watching the Avs, because, like, I honestly, to the point where I'm like, I think I'm checked out on the Philadelphia Flyers. Like, they may be in danger of losing me. Like, this might be a 3-for-4 show, where I'll just actually host when we're talking about the Flyers, and, hey, for once, you'll get me to shut the hell up.
I hope. All I need is you to officially say that, and I'm sending you an old tweet of yours. I can't wait. I can't wait. That's all I need is for you to officially drop it, and I'm sending you an old tweet.
No, I can't.
From like 7 years ago, and you'd be like, "I have it saved on my phone."
That's amazing.
I do, because he tortured me for like 6 hours about this damn thing. So
now I want to know what you said, or what I said. What you have saved is.
It was both of us. I went first, and then you went after it. So
yeah, well,
it's all right. It'll come up because you will give up on them. They'll do something else stupid first.
It's all right. This is.
You know what?
They love doing something stupid.
Now that you put a time frame on it, I'm digging in the. I think I know what this is about. Like, I'm like 99% sure I know what this is about. So it's pretty good for me.
We were due for a bad signing, I guess, because every few years we have one that we gotta like rant and rave about. McDonald we've done.
We had Hayes. We didn't need another.
Yeah. Yeah, the Flyers just make bad signing after
Kevin
bad
Hayes just had a breakaway the other night. They talked about it like he was beating cancer. Now I understand that that's a sore spot with Lindblom, but like,
let's not go there.
I mean, not only did he have a breakaway, he lost the puck before he got to the goalie, and the whole commentating booth wouldn't stop talking about 6 months ago we couldn't have done that. Okay, that's not a helpful play. If he had gone in and scored a nice goal, I could understand that conversation. But he stole the puck, he skated forward, he lost the puck, and then you guys gave him a standing ovation.
Wow, did you guys see that Tobias put up 20? It's like, that's what it feels like.
I was literally, I was mouth agape watching the game going, what are we applauding right now?
Yeah.
I just don't get it. Like, I guess I've just been heartbroken this whole year because, like, we went into it with such, like, high hopes. We're like, cool. Like, we can see where this builds to. We can see how this could go really well. Like, this, but it just did not. It just did not. Instead, here we are sitting close to the, trade deadline, and we're looking at trading away our favorite player since really, I mean, like, for me, like, adulthood, you know what I mean? Like, this is somebody that it hurts me to say this. He's the same age as us, and it's you follow that guy with his career, and it's
not me, but yeah, I go.
Yeah, I'm talking about me and Pinto because we're old, by sports standards, but yeah, it's sad to see this is what has happened, and it's just now we get to enjoy Giroux's 1,000th game on Thursday. Well, you'll be there.
I will.
Yeah, I won't be enjoying it.
Yeah.
Personally, like when I say, I mean, like I won't even tune in. But personally, this game and this it means absolutely nothing in the grand scheme of things for Claude Giroux. And personally, it bothers me more that he's still on this team because it's more of the same shit with the Flyers. Come Saturday, Giroux will be traded. And they've been waiting to trade him for this stupid game so that they could sell their stupid tickets.
This is a G thing, not Flyers.
If it's on then that is a good point. He's got the full no movement clause. If that's truly the point, then that's fine. I tend to think it's more of like Flyers being the Flyers. Like, if I'm Giroux, I'd be like, yo, get me the hell out. Get me on a winner immediately. And if I'm the Flyers, I'm going, I need to get you out of here because, God forbid, something happened before we get you out of here.
I'm going to tell you right now, it's not 100% he's going this weekend.
Yeah. The deadline's Monday.
No. I mean, by Monday. There's 100%. It's not 100% that he's going.
Yeah, that. And again, as long as that's on Giroux's will, that's fine. But then that brings up the whole mess in the offseason, which is, are you still going to refuse to get different? Because that's what this team needs more than anything. And I am just as big of a Claude Giroux fan, or I'm at least close to it, as both of you guys. I am by no means a Claude Giroux hater, but at this point, with what the Philadelphia Flyers are, you just got to look to get different in every possible spot that you can. And I know that, again, this is not Giroux's fault where they are, but you can get different by just either trading him, getting something for him. That's obviously the most beneficial for the team, rather than just letting him walk at the end of the season. But, man, as much as I would love for sentimental value to bring him back, it just doesn't feel like the right thing for this team anymore. And again, that's not Giroux's fault. I hope I'm making that as a
No, and I'm honestly, I'm with you 100%. And I hope he is willing to drop it after Thursday. I'm hoping that he's going to be willing to go to a contender, both for the Flyers and for him.
Yeah, I would love to see him win it.
G is a Hall of Famer.
I would love to see him in a Colorado Avalanche.
I want him
jersey.
as an Av so bad. They made a trade yesterday. I almost threw up because I was like, I don't think they can make it work anymore.
I was there for you.
Then they made another trade today that opened up more cap space, so they're good.
Yeah.
That's where I want him to go. I also think that's the best spot for a Flyers return, but that really depends on the problem with it is Colorado's GM, who is also the legendary Joe Sakic.
Mm-hmm.
He's damn good at his job.
Mm-hmm.
He is.
So you typically lose those trades, but the three teams that they keep talking about, you're not going to win a trade. Bill Zito is one of the best in the game in Florida. Chris Drury's done a phenomenal job in New York, and now you're talking about trying to one-up Sakic. The only thing that helps the Flyers is Landeskog just had to have surgery. So now anything that was off the table has got to come back on the table. But for me, at the end of the day, I want G to win a cup so that question mark next to Hall of Famer goes away.
Mm-hmm.
He's easily one of the top three players of this era, at his position at least.
I tell you what, I want G to win a cup if he goes to the Avalanche, and depending on where he goes.
I don't care.
Those other two teams, I can't go Florida. I can't go any of the New York teams. But
I cheer for either one.
I'm buying jersey even. Is that what you just said? Yeah, I go.
Oh, I'll have something.
I'm going I might even go to the Bobo sites and see if I can get the old.
Oh yeah, if it's
the reverse retro.
I'm buying one, yeah.
Oh, if it's an Avs, I will buy a legitimate retro of the Avs jersey.
Yeah, I just don't know if they make them still.
It's free money. They're doing it again next year, so if not, we can wait till then.
Oh, okay. I only say that because because if you try to get like the City Edition Sixers stuff, it's impossible to get. Because why because making jerseys is really hard apparently. But yes. That's where
I agree 100% on the team needs to get different. It's one, I want the GM gone, but I've wanted the GM gone since 3 days after they signed the GM.
Yeah, and just to go back, it's again, this is why it feels like an Andrew McDonald signing all over again, because of not only how bad it is and how long it is and how bad it is, but because he's going to get fired at the end of the season as well. Like, we all know what's happening. This is a dead man walk, and why are they still letting him have a checkbook?
He's here next year.
Yep.
Yeah. He's here all next year.
After next season, maybe. But this year, no. He's still here.
Yeah. No, because next year they're supposed to lose. The whole point is to retool on the fly. So you're hoping for and listen, I hope they don't win 7 games next year. Because they need a top of the draft guy. And 2023 has about 12 of them. So you need to not be in that 15 to 19 range like they've been when they try to retool on the fly. The 2 kids at the top are Connor McDavid level players. Oof. Connor Bedard might be better. Might be the best prospect I've ever seen.
That's some high praise coming from
you.
And
I'm slightly old enough that I didn't see Crosby as a prospect. So I can't tell you how
slightly old enough. Thank you for that.
Bedard is better than McDavid was at this age. So again, assuming he has another year like that, I mean, that's the type of guy that changes a franchise. And that's 100% what this Flyers team needs, is to grab someone like that. So, clear house, let the old guys that you brought in that did nothing. I think you see Brassard and Braun traded this week. Probably Marty Jones goes too. I think the Flyers still have a lot of pieces. The problem is they don't have a ton of pieces in Lehigh that are healthy to actually play. So you can't do a full sell. JVR will be here through the offseason, or at least until the offseason. He might go at the draft. It's going to be an interesting week for the Flyers. And honestly, it's what they need right now. So Thursday I'm going to shut the brain off for a little bit and pretend like this isn't the most depressing season of all time. And I was a season ticket holder when they won 14 games. So G deserves it. G deserved better his whole career. He's deserved better since he got here. So I'm all right with one night of celebrating the shit out of a guy who has given everything for this city, and who is, against his better judgment, I think going to agree to be traded, as much as he doesn't want to pick up and leave. So Thursday for me is going to be a celebration, and then I'll go back to not going to games and avoiding being in that stadium right now because it's too much for me. And I'm a guy who I didn't miss games for years, but I've been able to go back in 4 months now, so it's pathetic.
I'll be going there. I'll be going there Sunday for a different reason. 10-9-8-76ers.
Very different situation.
We'll be getting into Sixers talk. Even though that's a really good transition, I actually want to talk Phillies baseball before I talk Sixers. But damn, I that was such a good transition that I wanna revert. But no, it is anything else on Flyers or NHL in general. By the way, I saw a new face in chat. Lost in My Mind. So yeah, I saw that, and I saw Keith interacting. But yeah, what up?
Kevin knows who he is.
Yeah. But yeah,
if I don't, it's gonna be real bad because they've addressed me in every one of the things. What's up?
But yeah, I love seeing new. I call them faces, but names are faces as far as Twitch chat goes.
Wow! But, thank you for that stat.
But yeah, as far as Flyers go, yeah, it's just it's sad. But speaking of sad, the Phillies bullpen. No, but for real, the entire Phillies roster is balls, and not strikes. So I don't know, man. It's tough. I just, it's like it reminds me bringing Odubel Herrera back reminds me of when it was this tumultuous off season for the Sixers, and all you wanted them to do was make moves, and then, bam. 3 years, 15 million. Furkan Korkmaz. And you're like, what the f is going on right now?
Damn, I would have won my bet that you brought up Furkan tonight. I knew that contract was coming up.
And here we are. It's Odubel Herrera, and you had, just like Furkan Korkmaz, the only difference between the two is at least Furkan, we know, is a decent guy. Like from all the rumor, like from what you hear around town, he's friendly. So at least he doesn't go and beating women. So that's nice. That's a plus. Shout out to Furkan Korkmaz for not being that low. But here we are with Odubel Herrera, who not only is he just zero IQ on the baseball field, negative zero IQ off the baseball field. He's a PR nightmare. He sucks. Like, and then that's your sign. Like that leads off what you're planning on doing. That, and you're signing people that the Mets are getting rid of.
Who also have the same off the field issues.
Like
Amelia has the same exact issue.
I really don't understand what the Phillies are going for this offseason. And it's to the point where I'm getting tired of, like, and it's gonna feel like we're gonna be saying the same things we were just saying about Drew. We're gonna be like, Bryce Harper deserves better.
All right, go.
like this is insane. This dude's playing in the prime of his career, and you are just filling him with slop. And it's insane, man.
Well, luckily they brought back Didi, who's healthy.
Yeah, is he? Is he healthy? Like Danny?
Why would he being brought back?
Like, we knew. Well, he was on a 2-year deal. That was the mistake was last year when they last year they could have just moved on from Didi, and instead they gave him a 2-year deal. 2 years of Didi Gregorius. Why? Because Joe Girardi likes him.
That's all right, because we were always going to spend stupid money. Oh, wait, we're not allowed to go.
They are. No, I mean, look, people keep bringing that up, and I just go, they are spending money. Like, look at the money they're spending.
It is stupid.
It's stupid money. Like, it's not the way you thought, but he's been, John Middleton has been 100% stood by that quote since he has said it. He has spent nothing but stupid money. And that's not, I hope, just shout out to Bryce Harper for being the only good thing that has come from that quote. And I don't want to, like, I'm not making this to me bashing on Bryce or JT.
JT, yeah.
But man, as far as that, it's like, you have done nothing for this team. I'm sorry, I'm ranting. It's baseball season. Let's go.
You're good. So my question for you guys is, if they go get Chris Bryant, I get real quiet.
It's another Band-Aid. There's still a lot of problems on this team, but it does turn this frown upside down.
Yeah, I get real quiet. I get real quiet because to me it solves a lot of the issues, though. It's not a singular Band-Aid, which is what my concern. Like, I don't mind the Brad Hand signing, but
it's a little too much. But
but it's 1 year and it's.
There's no bad 1-year baseball deals.
That's correct.
That's a line, and I will shout out to We Podcast and We Know Things and my former host Greg Hall. That's a line that I'm 100%. I will always steal from him. There is no bad 1-year baseball deal.
No, and I like deals. Brad Ham. He's a solid reliever, and
except like Odubel Herrera. Sorry, I'm sorry, Keith.
Well, that's fine. It's fine. I'm used to you interrupting me. It's fine.
I literally was talking about. I was like, did I do this? Especially now that we're not in person and you can't hit me or anything. Like,
it's fine. Yeah. No, but I genuinely like that, and Chris Bryant, for me, I've always had a man crush on him. So like, I really want him. And then you have a legitimate middle of the order, and you have
Ben Simmons over here. My trash can is right here. I am right here. I bricked it.
I was gonna say, Ben Simmons is playing baseball for the Phillies now?
No,
really? I was like, what?
I'm just throwing bricks with my left.
It's only because I saw him throw the watermelon that I knew what he was talking about.
Okay. But yeah, no, I mean, you have that like you were just saying, Kevin, it solves a lot of issues. You have a quality player, quality person on the team. He knows what to do, and that just bridges it a little bit further to where you need to be. Yeah, the bullpen is still going to be, probably trash, and you still need another starter, but you're getting closer.
For me, the thing with Bryant is that if big if here, if Bohm is a legitimate option at third base as opposed to the definite DH every night, then you can play him in the outfield and it solves your outfield issue, or at least it lessens your outfield issue. If it's not the case, then he can slide into your third base and be your third. There's so many different things he does well that it allows that to be the case. For me, Bryant is the guy I'd like to see. I'd also would have loved them to go out and get Freddie, just because Freddie in the Phillies uniform would be incredible.
Man, that'd be a hell of a DH. No, screw it. You'd probably put him at first base.
Move Hoskins. Move Hoskins to DH.
Yeah, Hoskins goes to DH easy.
Yeah, which the Phillies, for the record, have said they're not going to go out and sign a full-time DH, which is... that's a stupid thing. Only Siths work in absolutes.
I don't know. Nelson Cruz would look pretty good as a DH.
Yeah, didn't he get signed? I think
he's going to bat behind Soto in
Nationals, right? Yeah, I was going to say I saw that, and I got very I've been calling for Nelson Cruz on the show probably the entire time you've been my co-host, Keith. Actually, because he's always been on low 1-year deals, and he's always raking, always hitting home runs, and to be a guy just off your bench or to be your DH, you knew it was coming. The Phillies are going to be bad this year. I got to be honest with you guys. Maybe Chris Bryant helps, bring the excitement. I don't know that it feels like the Sixers when the Sixers made the James Harden trade. You were like, they still need at least 2 pieces, and I was like, I got a feeling they're only going to get one, DeAndre Jordan. With the Phillies, even if they get Chris Bryant, I happen to think that would be it, and it would just be all. And I think that there's still, Keith, you mentioned it, starting pitcher away, and probably another outfielder or middle infield or just infielder away. This bench still stinks, and depth in 162 games means everything, and with nothing on the farm as far as prospects goes, I think this team needs more. They need to be making these moves that they keep making for the bullpen, where they're just signing everybody. They should be doing that with hitting too, and I don't mean signing but just you got to be taking your chances on guys with pop and just adding home runs to this lineup, because right now there's a serious lack of it.
Are we thinking we're seeing Stott a lot this year?
Yeah.
I hope. I mean, I guess you hope so, right?
Right.
The more you see of him, the more he's succeeding.
Right.
And especially if you get guys if you get a Chris Bryant, it makes guys like Bohm, it makes guys like Stott, it makes your center fielder situation, I guess, a little more bearable. Although I disagree with that latter part, so I couldn't even address it by name. But if you get a guy like Bryant, like I said, it's maybe it's a good fix. It's more than a Band-Aid. I think that's what my original. But it's not when I say a Band-Aid, I mean it's there's still more holes to plug.
Absolutely.
However, he would be plugging in something into your middle of your lineup right now. That's Bryce Harper insurance. You could really use that. I think that they have tried to use JT Realmuto in a power spot in the lineup far too often, and he's more year 2, where they've been they finally realized that Rhys Hoskins is not meant for the top of the lineup. Hopefully that trend stays going into this year, because if you can get Rhys as your 4 to 6, that's where he belongs. I think that takes a lot of pressure off him. Even if he's getting walks, it can still put it still allows him to get knocked in with some of the guys that are hopefully in the back of the lineup. So yeah, I just want to see that if Rhys is here, which I mean I assume he's not going anywhere. I would imagine, I would imagine. I would really hope that 4 to 6 is where he is, but it's gonna be, we're just gonna have to sit here and wait and hope for the splash. But yeah, I don't know anything else anything else as far as baseball for you guys, like as far as names go, or I know there was we had a post on Facebook today. Let me see what we got here.
Yeah, there was a couple responses. Yeah.
I read one that was funny, and I want to read it. Read it on air, but nothing's working. From Romeo, it says Suzuki and Schwarber trading for Chapman wouldn't be bad if they can avoid giving up Painter or Stott. Not sold on Abel being a starting pitcher. Think he's more suited for relieving pitcher.
Wow, man. I can't even begin to tell you how bad that would be for the Phillies if he's not a starter.
Yeah.
That's devastating.
John Dessing says half price beers to get me through watching this slop. Best comment in chat.
I like it. I like it.
And Clint says would have loved an actual major league center fielder, but maybe next year. Getting Castellanos would make our lineup legit. Can't disagree.
I hear you.
But yeah. Anything else as far as the Phillies tonight, guys?
Apparently, they have the same desire as the Flyers to not actually sign serviceable players.
That's great.
Well, someone that did sign or at least trade for a serviceable player was the 10-9-8 76ers. We can finally talk about James Harden tonight. So let's start first and foremost. Kevin Christian, James Harden, Philadelphia 76er. Your thoughts?
I don't think I could possibly love Daryl Morey any more than I do. Because from the night after, because we were on here the night after they lost to the Hawks last year, I told you that Ben Simmons would be here all year. Because Morey's never going to trade him unless the superstar is coming back. And we talked about Buddy Hield and all these other guys. And that was my biggest concern, is that they couldn't make it happen. So I thought he'd be stuck here. To get James Harden for what they got him for is absolutely insane. I don't think a first-round pick matters to a team, to either team. I'm not sure why the Nets even asked for that to be a part of it, knowing full well it's going to be the end of the draft. I love Seth Curry, but he becomes irrelevant. He becomes something you've already got. The Drummond piece hurt, but they've already answered that with DeAndre. It's a downgrade, but
big downgrade.
It is, and that's a big part of it. But for me, doesn't really matter if Joel's off the floor anyway.
Totally agree.
So if he's not playing, whatever. If Drummond's got to start a game, we've already lost the series. So, I know it's been up and down since he got here. I know we've had a whole lot of fun watching them demolish teams with the two of them going off. I don't think I actually couldn't believe the Brooklyn score when I checked it out. I watched the beginning to watch Ben get booed, and then had to do something when I got back to see the score. I was a bit shocked, but these guys have been playing together for like 8 games. Everyone relax. Take a deep breath. You're going to be a top 3 seed in the East. And assuming everybody's healthy, it's going to be fine. There's really no legitimate reason that they don't come out of the East with this roster.
Yeah, I would say, just to bounce off of that last part of that, I would say that when you sift through a lot of the noise, the biggest thing that mostly everyone is agreeing with and saying is the lack of a bench. Which, Seth Curry would have looked phenomenal on that bench. I agree. But guess what? He's not here because he had to be a part of that deal to get James Harden. You're a better basketball team because of it.
My problem was if it's not Curry, it's Thibault. And if you lose Thibault, you have no defense. Your defense becomes a whole new problem. So for me, it's I don't know how you make the trade otherwise. Unfortunately, Shake Milton has run his course of having any sort of trade value.
Yeah.
That's how that trade had to be made. So, again, love Seth Curry. I stand by the fact that he was the best and most consistent Sixer in that Hawks series.
Yep, absolutely.
But he had to go, and I'll deal with it.
And not only that, you mentioned the Thibault thing. Like, look, getting rid of Seth Curry is still much better than Thibault, much better than Maxey, much better, than really just those two.
That's what it would have cost you, was one of those two.
So when it comes down to that, it's unfortunately a price that had to be paid. And, he's looking good on that Nets offense. But, man, I stand by it. I really hope Ben Simmons gets out there and plays for them on the playoffs, because it makes them 5v4 on offense. Because people are already saying, hey, he doesn't need to shoot. And if Ben really doesn't want to shoot again, he's going to make teams 5v4. And then you can put the defender that's supposed to be on Ben gets to dig and gets to post on KD when he's down low, or gets to be on the ball on the perimeter when Kyrie's got it. So by all means, please let Ben Simmons just be useless standing in the corner on offense for them, because I think he makes their offense weaker. Unless he's playing center. If he's playing center, he makes their offense better. I don't know that Ben Simmons. I don't know that he's willing to play center. Yeah. That's what he's going to
play the 4.
On offense, he's going to play the 4, and he's just going to stand in the corner, and he's going to maybe do this. But I love it. I think he makes their offense just mostly inept. He'll definitely get those couple of kickouts to an open Curry. But all in all, especially in the half court, we've seen what he does to an offense.
That's fair, but what's he do to your offense?
Again,
Tobias Harris. 20 points.
James Harden matched up against him through the career has actually had Ben Simmons' number if you look at the individual numbers. However, we'll see about that. Against the defense, I'm not taking that away. I'm not all of a sudden gonna not act like I didn't, support Ben for whatever amount of years he was here. I do know the good that's in Ben's game, but especially with not playing at all this year, I don't think he's just going to come out and all of a sudden be a changed game for 8 games going into the playoff. I think he gets on the team and kind of screws it up a little bit. Maybe it's wishful thinking. Maybe I just got that hater in my blood all of a sudden. But
I want him to send the rest of the year, because
look, I'm also I know I'm sounding like a Philadelphian. You're right. For the record, let me make that clear. Ben Simmons, the Nets will always be a better team with Ben Simmons than without any team that Ben's actually willing to play for.
But if Ben does end up in the rotation in the playoffs, and we do see him on Harden, then we just see Joel Embiid abuse whoever's down low. That's what we see.
Yeah, that was
Drummond, who he has abused his whole career.
Yeah, Drummond couldn't make it through one quarter without getting hurt, and he may have fouled out in the first half if he didn't leave for an extended period of time. Excuse me. That was the one positive I saw in that Nets game.
I'm gonna say something about that game. That game, everybody's like, "Oh, look at that! They blew that game." No, because that was the Nets saying, "We need to win this for Ben. If we're ever gonna see Ben on the floor for the rest of the year, or even in the playoffs, we have to win this game for him. We have to get up and going." That was their playoff game. That's what that was.
That's also KD giving Harden the finger.
Yes, it is.
Here's what I'll say I think both teams had just as much to play for.
I agree.
And it was a reality check for the Sixers, and I think they were due for one.
Absolutely.
I don't think that I wasn't, I didn't think that they needed to carry it over and take the Orlando Magic into overtime, and then that clearly led to a tired Embiid against Denver, and that was a blown lead, and that felt like I was watching the Atlanta Hawks series again last night.
Yes.
This is a bit of there's been ups and downs. I think it was one of you two said it. Since Harden has got here, we're on the down. I'm by no means panicked. I just think that, look, This team needs another piece off the bench, and unfortunately, there's just no one walking the streets right now that is ready to play basketball. So, instead of being like, what are the realistic options now moving forward for the 76ers? Here's what I suggest. And I've gone as far as even saying last year I was impressed by his minutes over Furkan Korkmaz. And this year, they need somebody to play the perimeter, right? And look, Danny Green, when he wants to play, he's found every reason to get off the court this year as far as injuries go. If Danny Green can stay on the court, he's in this conversation as well. But until further notice, I need to figure out where I got with what, and I got to start heavily giving Isaiah Joe some basketball minutes. Not garbage minutes, some basketball minutes. Since we got 4 minutes to wrap too, on our Hangouts call, which is this was fun tonight. I can always, what we can do, and I can even do it right now. I can hang up and restart real quick and have you guys hop back in, and then we can not have to worry about this. So let's do this now. And sorry, chat, hang with us as you're getting the workings. Let me move stuff right here so nothing comes on screen. You guys get to see some Spider-Man titties with the weird. If you guys see a stream right now, you'll see what I'm talking about. If you have a stream,
I was just looking at that because I was.
It's like a weird cutout with the way I had everything cropped. But all right, let me hang up on you guys. Chat, bear with us. You guys can hang out, talk and chat. I'm gonna hang up on you, and we'll start another one.
No.
Now it's. All right. Oh, it's just us guys. Ooh, it's just me and you. And now I have to pull up my friends. Make a call. We'll have this problem fixed next week. I don't know why this was a thing. It's never been a thing, but now our calls are limited. Shout out to Google. They don't have enough money. Spider-Man titties. That's the last thing I saw in chat. Oh, you guys have flipped sides. That's interesting.
We're mixing it up.
So the last thing we were talking about was Spider-Man titties.
I think that's really what the Sixers need off the bench.
But no, my experiment would be, look, and I kind of feel Doc with the throwing Shake out there just to see. But at this point, I got to start giving Isaiah Joe some extended minutes and giving him, look, he doesn't need to be the first off the bench, but I need to see what he can do, and I more specifically need to see what he can do out there on the court with James Harden.
The problem I have with the whole bench is I don't think they have a bad group of guys. They have a really inconsistent group of guys.
Correct.
When Shake's on, Shake's on. When Furkan is on, he's on. It's just there's no way to know which one of them is ready.
Yeah, I would say they do have a bad group of guys because of that. And here's just not to discredit that point. They're not even on anymore. Shake Milton hasn't had a good game in 2 years.
That's fair.
Furkan Korkmaz hasn't had. He had a good stretch the beginning of this season, and I even was like, "Are we seeing something like maybe the month?" Like, but no, and it's like these guys don't even get hot for stretches. It's like a game and then they disappear. If it were stretches, it'd be like one thing.
You deal with it.
But that's why I even get throwing them out there for a few minutes each. Because it's like, oh, maybe if they drain, they get hot, you get 20 out of them. But you could probably count the number of games on two hands where, like, it's probably been 10 games combined where those two have maybe put up 20. Yeah. Combined. Yeah. So
I think for me it's an easy first 7, the first 5, and the first 2 off the bench.
Yes. With
Niang and Jordan. But what the hell do you do after that?
Yeah, right. Danny Green still would probably be, if he can play.
Should be.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then like I said, then it's those three. It's Shake, it's Furkan, and it's Isaiah Joe. Yeah. And in my opinion, what you have out of 2 out of those 3. I'm not even, by no means is this me like pumping the Isaiah Joe. Like I'm not sitting here like resting my laurels on him. Like I know he's the next best thing. I just know that I've been impressed with him in limited minutes and in extended minutes. If you go back to last year's when the Sixers were decimated with COVID, he played like 40-some minutes and put up like 30. He played way more minutes than he was ever used to, and he excelled in that role. And I'm not saying if you play him that, he'll always put up 30. I'm just saying that the one time we've seen him, he's filled the sheet. And especially last year, I was very impressed. And I remember a tweet last year saying Isaiah Joe is greater than Furkan Korkmaz, because I've been waiting to try to find it again to show, because I still agree with it this year, even though that they brought back Furkan Korkmaz 3 years, $15 million.
Well, it comes down to, at this point, who else do you have to try? And that's
literally really nothing.
That's your only option. You have to try something like that.
Jaden Springer, is he even? What's he done? Like I haven't even heard anything of Jaden Springer, your first round draft pick from last year. I know he's down in the G League, but like I have no idea what he's doing. I don't even know what his skill set is at this point.
They had a first round pick.
Like exactly, and that's the thing too, because whenever people were like, "Oh, we need these draft picks because of Maxey and Thibault," I'm like, "Yeah, but name every other draft pick since like you can't." So you know, we just
generally speaking, if you're not a top like 15 pick, and we'll even go top 10 pick, you know, you're probably not going to make too much of an impact. You know,
Mikal Bridges would have been a good one.
Yeah, you know,
that was a good draft pick by the Sixers. Unfortunately, he just never played for him because we needed Zaire.
Needed that first round pick. Technically, we did need that first round pick.
I enjoyed that Mikal Bridges has pretty much become Earl Thomas at this point. Where like anytime anyone wants to shit on the Sixers, that's the name we hear.
Really?
Like it's not wrong. It's not an incorrect call. I agree, but it's gotten to like the Earl Thomas level for me, where I'm just like, it's so. It wasn't revisionist because we knew what he was because of Villanova.
Can I ask this without sounding cocky? Do you hear it from a lot more people than me?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah,
that
definitely.
Makes me.
You might have started it.
I feel like I'm the only one that says it.
Oh no!
But like more people need to know that the Sixers drafted Bridges, because
then I hear about his mom too.
I'm not saying that he's the greatest player of all time, but Zaire Smith.
He's been a great player. I mean, not great, but he's done really
very
well.
Solid.
I mean, he
would have been helpful.
Could potentially win a championship this year. On the Suns.
He is on the Suns.
Yeah, yeah.
You know why? Oh,
because there's also Miles. Yeah,
and I was like, LaMelo Ball's not winning. He's been good, but he's not winning anything.
Every now and then I'll even confuse the two.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Won one last year.
What I just sidetracked us pretty hard. Sorry. The Mikal Bridges thing. But yeah, going back to the bench, Keith. I think you were talking about bench pieces. What else do we have?
We were pretty much on the same point. We don't have anything. So you're looking at Isaiah Joe. You know, you're looking at those those players, those fringe players, and you got to give them a chance, because at this point, what do you have to lose?
I'm going to tell you now that
for Doc Rivers' job. But go ahead, Kevin.
I ain't worried about that. He can go.
Go ahead. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I think you got to focus more. I know Doc's been really big about he'll always have one of the two on the floor. When you have those four on the floor and Harden, that is a recipe to get absolutely trampled on, because you have four guys who probably shouldn't be on the floor and a guy who can't play defense. Like, for me, I want Thibault out there with them.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
If you're going to sit the two big guys for a second and you want to do this freaking... hopefully he just stops doing this in general. This whole, my starting lineup needs to come off the floor. Let me put four bench guys on there. That drives me.
Yeah, it's a terrible idea.
Full flip. Let's take out 2 and 2 and rotate through. But first he's got to shorten the bench, because we were in the middle of the beginning of the fourth quarter against Atlanta, and he's flipping 5 and 5. Now I know he said he won't do it this year, but let's see that first. But last night was concerning, and I know it's on the back end of a back-to-back, but losing the game it's fine. It's one game out of 82, but losing the game like that with your bench being unbelievably exposed and your big guys not being able to hold on down the stretch was concerning.
Mm-hmm.
But again, that's what happens when the momentum all goes out from underneath of them. But it looked too similar to what we saw in previous years. I think they have so much talent in that first five that they should be able to bully their way. But if the rotations aren't better, and if the fourth quarter play isn't better from the big guys, that's the only thing for me that stands between them and a championship berth.
Yeah, if they're going to roll kind of like the 7 that you were talking about, which we know are at least legit, you're going to need more out of Niang, because Niang's more of like an 8 or a 9, to be honest with you, in an ideal team.
Yeah.
But if he can get hot for a stretch, if Tobias Harris can play like all-star Tobias last year for just the playoff stretch, this team's going to benefit. Yeah. I mean, obviously, like, that's stupid to say, but I mean by benefit is, like, you know, that'll take a lot of pressure off, because even if you can move Tobias to even, you know, when you're talking about those subs, and you can make him part of, you know, kind of run him as the point in the, you know, the point forward in the second line, and you can have, you know, if both Maxey and Harden come off the court, for instance, you can have Tobias be the primary ball handler. Like, there's things where, you know, that this team can do to work around certain situations. But, and this is, again, I sound so cliche, but you're gonna have to get some people to step up that aren't Joel Embiid and James Harden. And while I'm on it, like, just in general, we're going to also need, like, I get that he's in his feeling. Come playoff time, we're going to need greedy James Harden. Like, I need to see him shooting from the outside, because that's what this team needs. And that's what this team is going to need him to do. So, you know, it's something that we're throughout this, you know, handful, we got about 18, 20 games left. We're going to just watch and see how this goes, but you're gonna
it's tight right now in the standings, so we're gonna need these.
Kyrie just put up 50 too, by the way.
Again?
Is that last night? Maybe it's last night.
No, I just mean, like, whether it was last night, tonight. He did it like Kyrie's twice good. Last week.
It's the franchise record he just hit. So whether it's a 3-point record or the fact that he got 50, I don't know.
Yeah,
but
yeah, He good. So yeah, again, it's gonna be a wild ride towards the end of these playoffs. Yeah. Any other Sixers thoughts tonight, guys? Anything?
We're good.
When's the next game?
Friday.
Tomorrow. Tomorrow against
the
Cavaliers.
Yeah,
Friday versus the Mavs.
Yep.
Ooh, 2 good games.
Yeah, and then Sunday you got the Raptors. Monday the Heat.
Tomorrow could be a playoff, preview, because we could end up being that. Right now, it is the matchup, though. We got some games left before that becomes the end. But no, Cavaliers versus Sixers, and I would really like that to be the matchup.
Yeah, they should beat up on them.
Yeah, Cavaliers are a good young team, but young.
Young.
But Young, man, we saw last year what Young can do in the playoffs. You know, the Atlanta Hawks were young; they didn't know what they were doing, and they took advantage of a Sixers team that has pressure on them. The Sixers, that pressure's not going anywhere until they beat.
It helps when you have a professional soccer/football player on your basketball court.
Hey, man.
That was a diving joke.
No, I know what you're trying to do. Trae Young. I had a brain fart. He's a hell of a basketball player, and he torched the Sixers. You guys can throw shade however you want, but he had a phenomenal.
Zero respect for that man.
Phenomenal. If he was wearing a Sixers uniform, you would worship at the altar. He plays just like AI did. A little more whining in theater, but he goes to the rim.
Way more whining. Zero grit.
Also, a whole lot more of throwing and chucking and praying than AI ever had.
And if AI was in this era, he might be doing the same thing because the refs reward
I'm not saying he's not talented. I'm not saying that.
I'm not by no means. But let me get it straight. I'm not calling Trae Young AI. I'm just saying he's just fearless. In that series, he was fearless going to the rim. he just dominated.
He had every call.
Look,
I'm thoroughly
you guys can
watching
diminish it. You can diminish it by blaming it on the Sixers suck. They choked.
I'm thoroughly enjoying watching him play this year in 13th place.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun watching him do nothing. I mean, he throws up 60 every night, but he can't win.
Yeah, look, the Atlanta Hawks suck. And the Sixers should have won last year. But that's a story for last year. But I digress, as I do best.
We had a very long show on that.
I had a very long few. I'm just getting over the scars of that game, and I'm finally going back to that arena on Sunday. So yeah.
It's a little bit easier now that they moved Ben.
Yeah, well, now that they have James Harden, and that's personally it's a back-to-back, and I'm like, I hate to say this, but I'm like, I will take Embiid getting the night off. I really want to go and see James Harden play in person.
Yeah, for me, my brother's going Monday, and hoping the opposite.
He would rather see Embiid.
No, he wants to see Harden too, so he's hoping the night off for Harden.
I think they both need to be playing both of those games. They're both potential playoff matchups. But if there are one out of the other, I would say that the Raptors are the obvious easier team.
I mean, for me, it's
the Raptors are in playoff contention, right?
They are. They're seventh.
I was gonna say I'm not sounding stupid.
And they are the low seed I don't want to play, just for the record.
I would love to play the Raptors.
No, I don't like how we match up against them at all.
Yeah, I think you're forgetting that James Harden's on this team now.
No, I still don't like it. They play very good defense. They have very good shooting from the outside. I just don't like it.
I'm kind of somewhere in the middle there. I mean, I would prefer to. I'm not avoiding anybody.
I still feel like we can win against anybody in the bottom there, but that's the one. If I'm going to be worried, that's the team.
I want Cleveland.
Yes.
But I feel the best about them, but it's. I can see where you're at with Toronto, but they don't scare me. Miami doesn't scare me either, so I'm not. I think this comes down to whether or not you can beat the Nets in a 4-game series, and how long can you avoid the Bucks.
Yes.
Yeah, as far as the East goes, Nets, Bucks, Heat.
We've already shown we can handle the Bulls.
And I'm missing one other team at the top.
It's the Bulls. The Bulls are at the top.
The Bulls are the other one up there with us.
No,
the Nets actually aren't there.
The Bucks. I
mean, the Celtics aren't a bad team either. They're on fire recently. So.
Yeah, the reality is the East is now, I think, better than the West overall. That's just me.
Yeah,
I think there are more quality teams in the East than there are the West right now.
Okay, I can see that. Sure. The 8 teams that make the playoffs collectively would probably be better than the 8 coming out of the West. But, I mean, the Nuggets are 6.
Heat, Bucks, and Nets are really the only 3 teams that match up well against the Sixers, in my opinion. The Cavaliers are scary. The Celtics are a much better team than I thought they would be. I go back to the beginning of the season. I remember I damn near laughed at your Celtics pick. I'll call myself out on it.
And you have the Bulls, too, who are both teams are up there.
Wait, the Bulls?
Yeah, I told you that they wouldn't finish higher than 6th with no Ben and no trade. So I was also wrong. Just so we're clear. Because they were already up there before they got Harden.
Yeah,
so wait, hold on. I don't remember arguing about the Bulls. Which side was I?
No, the Celtics is where you went after me. But the Bulls, I said the Sixers will be below the Bulls, the Celtics, the Heat.
Okay. Yeah.
The Bucks.
Yeah. Okay.
The Bucks and the Nets was what I said. Putting them at the 6th or 7th spot.
Mm.
And the Bulls you laughed at, and then the Celtics you were like, what Celtics? Yeah. KG retired. And I was like, I'm well aware.
Yeah, so, and here's even just to, I'm surprised. First off, I'm surprised that the Ben thing went on as long. I'm surprised that the Sixers have kept their footing at the top of the East as well as they have, despite all of that. And shit, damn near I'm surprised that they got James Harden. out of the whole deal too. Now that we're recapping, but yeah. Now that that's all said and done, it's just a matter of how do we find a way to. Look, I'm not gonna say fill out this bench because there's no help coming. Like JJ said he's not in basketball shape. I talked to him. We got in contact. No, he actually said that like on because he's been getting harassed about it so often by people like myself. He's like, I am not in basketball shape, and it will take you guys minutes to find that out. To wit, it takes me seconds to find out that Shake Milton and Furkan Korkmaz are bad. If you got minutes, I might be able to get 6 points out of you in a couple minutes.
I can work with that.
That's what I'm saying.
That's all I'm saying.
That's listen, JJ Redick can play for my team any day.
I stand by
that's my boy.
I stand by it. He can come here. All I need him to do is run a little bit around on the perimeter. We'll shake him off. Embiid will get him an open three and hit it, dude. Just hit the three.
He don't need open. He's never needed open.
It helps.
Just running. The one he hit running out of bounds into the corner was maybe my favorite shot from a Sixer. And
he's one of the best 3-point shooters of all time.
He's incredible.
No denying that. Guys, anything else tonight? Any Sixers final thoughts, nerdy stuff, like whatever you want? Like,
let's go, Coach K. One last time.
We'll edit that out.
I knew that wasn't gonna be a popular response, but it's.
I can't root against him.
I've been a Duke guy since I was young.
The Polish connection.
Yeah.
Nah. Look, all respect to what he's done for the game, right? But I'm a hater. I'm just a Duke hater because that's the fun thing to do, right?
You either love Duke or you're a Duke hater.
Same with North Carolina,
I hate North Carolina.
I roll with Nova, and that's.
I like Nova too. Listen, it's not I've been a Duke fan since I can remember.
Yeah, and look, Philadelphia is by no means like we're a professional sports town, right? So that's like where alliances kind of like are very askew when it comes to colleges, and like no one beats anyone up over it for the most part, unless you're like in college and maybe like Villanova versus St. Joe's, then you got like some turf wars. But man, like it used to be like it just kind of sucks now. Anymore, it's like it's just Nova. Like it used to be Nova, Temple. When Penn, when Phil Martelli that was his name, right? Yeah. Phil Martelli was or am I confusing old white guys?
You're confusing. Martelli was at St. Joe's with Jameer and.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. He was the Temple coach more recently after he left Penn.
I don't think I've ever known Penn's coach.
Oh my god, he's
Fran Dumpy.
Yes. So yeah, he like when he was at Penn, they were in the tournament every year. But it's
Cheney
like
and Temple.
It's kind of like now I'll take it because we've shed extra teams but have gained national championships, and I'll take that because I never. Like, I'm not one to say, like, even as bad as the Flyers look right now, I'm not one that's going to, they're never going to win while I'm alive. Like, I'm never that guy. I never expected to see a Nova championship. I just, like, not that I ever pouted about it. It was one of those things I was just like, they're too far gone. It's never going to be. And the fact that I've got two, and if I dare say, they could be on a run for a third this year. That's pretty crazy. Now,
cool
I don't think they're winning a national championship this year. Just so I can make it clear, but they're gonna win some games in this tournament. So that's my little
fun to watch March Madness.
Yeah, I do. I love the college basketball game, so it'll be fun. Hope you guys
can't wait.
You guys all fill out your bracket and have some fun with that. But yeah, anything else tonight, guys? Any other final thoughts or?
No, I think I'm pretty much tapped out here. It's been a good night talking all three of us. Yeah,
all three of you.
Yeah,
it's great.
It's been a good talking to all three of the Jalen Hurts fans. But no, it's been good talking to both you guys and being able to interact with Lost in My Mind in chat here tonight. And check out the podcast if you're not. I guess if you're listening to the podcast, thanks for checking out the podcast.
Yep. So with that, we were gonna be. What you got, Kev?
That's just my boy.
Is that G in there?
It's his 1,000th game. Yep.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I turned my chair around and everything just so I could have him in the background this time instead of Gritty. So, thank you to G. It's my boy.
Right on.
1,000 games.
So yeah, with that then, no more final thoughts. It's been a fun one tonight. So yeah, like Keith kind of even mentioned, thank you guys for tuning in both live and on demand. And if you ever want to check us out on YouTube, just go to War Room Philly, or you can search it as one word or both, or I guess Anthony Pinto I think is the YouTube channel too. We're working it. We got 1,000 subscribers to go until we can make our own link. And I am going to try to make it so that you can do !YouTube in chat and it'll send you to the link. But we're working on it. I'm getting there. I'm going to start doing some tweaks to the stream and making it look all pretty. And my goal is to have it looking nice for the NFL draft, which we've talked about behind the scenes. So yeah, I'll let you guys behind the curtain for a hot second. So stay tuned for all that. With that, yeah, it's been a fun one. Let's wrap this bitch up. I'm Anthony Pinto.
I'm Keith Malashevsky.
And I'm Kevin Christian.
And we are out of here.